Go ahead, buddy.
Well, I started listening to guys that were most of the bands, like the guy I worked with, John Mayall. He was a big Freddie King devotee in England, and a lot of guys that had never heard Freddie King here heard it through him and Eric Clapton. And that's the way I found out about Freddie. And Freddie was right here. You know, I mean, I saw him in Mother Blues in Dallas, and saw him open for Leonard Skinner in 1974 downtown, and just tore the place up. But guys like Freddie were a little more rock and blues, you know what I mean? A little louder and a little more guitar driven and things like that. And he was, Freddie and Bugs Henderson, John Nitzinger, all those guys were around when I was, you know, early 70s when I was coming up. Ray Sharp, Linda Lou, Ray's still around. We just can't get him to come out and play anymore. I wish we could, but that was it for me.
Well, he mentioned 70s. 70s, I was just
Were
a
you
little
here
boy.
then?
I was just a little boy. But I tell you what, I do remember riding down that Horn Street in Como, Texas, hearing that beat every time we passed. Could hear that beat from the Bluebird to my house. I'm like, gosh, I can still hear that beat today. And we'd ride our bicycles by there, you know, riding by with our parents, see all these guys in the apple hats, all these cool cats walking in with their instruments. You know, that kind of fascinated me about the whole music thing. Really didn't know it was the blues at the time. So, you know, grew up as a teenager playing all the other pop stuff, R&B stuff, you know. And then stumbled across a Freddie King CD. Heard him do a version of Ain't No Sunshine. That was it.
Yeah.
That got me right there. I say, okay, this is the R&B version, very nice. But this version here, I got to try and get that. So that really pushed me over to the blues thing. It was that soul, man. I mean, it was the soul of everything. All the players, the beat, the vocals was, you know, unrehearsed, raw.
Improvise.
Yeah.
And you can like do it on the fly like he just did. You know what I mean? And I mean, there's a lot of music where you have to get together and rehearse it and everything, you know, and most of the time on a blues gig, guys will just show up and do it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I've always played several. I mean, you know, I'm kind of a blues rock country kind of guy, and I've been trying to make a living playing music all my life, so I've had to play a little bit of everything. But the blues is always at the base of it, you know what I mean? And it always kind of starts there. Man, and I think there's a lot of young guys coming up doing it that are really good at it. I think there'll always be an audience for it. Sometimes it kind of comes and goes in circles. You know what I mean? It'll be like Stevie Ray had it here for the last, you know, the last high watermark, like you say, and it's going to be down for a while, but it'll always be there.
Yes.
And it'll come back around. You know, a lot of people are very, very tunnel vision about their blues, and that's all right. But I mean, it's you have to take it somewhere, you know.
Yes.
And make it be relevant to, you know, people that are the listeners. Change it up maybe a little bit, but it's still really, you know, 12 bar. Maybe you might add another chord or two, you know, or you might make it a little more of a composition than just a 12 bar.
Right.
Look at Robert Cray; he's a perfect example of that. And like I say, Gary Clark too.
Yes. And Gary Clark, he's still doing straight blues. I mean, it's just, you know, he's done the rock thing and he's created a massive audience. But, you know, if you check him out in concert and on the YouTubes and all this, man, he's still, 50% of his show is still 145 blues, and he's ripping it up. You know, he's really representing. I'm very proud of the guy. I mean, Texas is kind of a gumbo state. You know, Louisiana's close by. You know, Mexico's close by. Oklahoma's up the street. And, you know, of course, we got the country. You know, it's just a mixture, and I think all of that is in that pot of what we do. And I mean, that goes for all styles of music, all the way back to rockabilly and
Western
you know,
swing.
Yeah. It's just that gumbo mix that we have here. And that's what he was talking about. You know, it's kind of hard to do music in Texas and stay in the box because we're a little bit of everything. You know, we do mix our blues, our rock and roll, and our soul with all kind of flavors, which makes it very interesting.
Well, you're hearing it more. I mean, it seems to me that has made its rounds, but I mean, it seems to me that I'm hearing a whole lot more melody and actual, human vocals and harmony and instruments, in the hip hop tunes.
Yeah.
That I hear. It's like, that people are singing again, singing harmony and stuff, and that for me, that makes it for me.
My thoughts is hip hop is somewhat like blues. Blues is not restricted. That's one of the things that turn me on about blues. As an artist, you can write about anything, play it any way you want, express yourself. You're not, caught in this little box where you have to be this or have to be that. If you want to be rock and roll blues on a tune, or funky, or R&B, or country, you have the freedom to do that. It's the same with rap. Rappers have the opportunity to rap about whatever they want, whether it be out here or, down here. And I think it's that freedom about the blues and the rap that makes it kind of a little related there.
We were down around Houston a couple of weeks ago, and we're playing all the John Nitzinger and the Bugs Henderson stuff down there, and they were going, and ZZ was from down there, and Lightning Hopkins was from down there, and they, the sound guy down there he says, man, he goes, I was about to give up on some. They had several other. Well, wait a minute, I better not say that, because I was on a festival with several other bands that I better not say that. But to suffice it to say, this guy was surprised that we played some tunes that from way back that you just don't hear anymore. Used to, when the clubs we used to play when I was playing at Spencer's Corner and I Got You and all that kind of thing, you couldn't play original music. Nobody wanted to hear it, because the club owners didn't want you to do it because the people didn't know it, and if they don't know it, they're not going to be up there. There's very few bands that could come out and like Black Horse was a good local band that they could get away with. They sort of made it to a level where they could do a show of their own material. And Too Smooth from down in Austin, they could do it, but mostly people just want to dance. You know what I mean? And they want to. It's not. I don't know anything about music, but I know what I like. It's more I like what I know.
But a cover tune, even when you're doing a cover tune, you have to make it your own.
Yeah, that's right.
And you have to relate to that tune. So it is someone else's tune, but it becomes your tune when you do it. Well, it should anyway. And I try not to sing anything that I can't relate to or I can't feel.
I try not to sing anything I can't sing. There's a lot of them lately.
Yeah, I hear you. We have our days.
Yeah.